So my first time going to court for eviction notice, I'm thinking
Not my first time. She said my first time.
I'm going to court. So my first time going to court for eviction notice.
Who in the present? Who in the present refers to this as my first time going to court for eviction notice? Imagine you're presently about to go to jail. You're talking about this is my first time going to jail. Do you intend for it to be the last time, or are you anticipating there's going to be more times? Was this a rite of passage? She said my first time getting eviction notice, and this is present day. She's not telling a story in the past tense.
I'm thinking I could go in there looking good, cute, try to, I was trying, okay? Boy, I had paperwork. I had paperwork. Opened it, tried to open it. This man said, I don't need to see those. You have 7 days to get out or pay.
Mm.
Thank you. I said, what the fuck are the crazy? I said, this is not the shit that I be seeing in the fucking movies. I'm thinking like we're gonna be like on Judge Mathis, people in the background. There was people there. There was like 20 people getting evicted. I mean, I'm gonna figure it out, I guess. I'm about to just go rent a car and see how that goes.
I think it's a game.
So my first time.
You think it's a game? You're gonna find out. Keep thinking
Okay,
it's a
if you're a
game.
real one, you will stick around and help me do some God math. I have clients that I have, and I do their social media management. These clients are essentially extra late for paying me my billable hours from May. Last Friday, I get a notice of eviction for my apartment because I'm waiting on my clients to pay me double the amount of my rent. They also didn't let me know that they'd be running late, so now I'm in a rock and a hard place. I'm like, God, you give me this amazing opportunity for me to be able to subsidize my income with these clients, yet can't pay me on time so I can pay my own rent. Or give me a heads up so then I can make the appropriate actions to get additional money elsewhere from my accounts that I can actually move. Because we all know it takes a couple days to move money. But God says, count it all joy when I face trials, because at the end of the day, it's preparing me, right? It's hard to not let that stuff stress me out, but I'm also supposed to believe that.
So hold on, I'm trying to understand. So do you have money saved? That and it's the main deterrent is just that you have to move it. What, from a brokerage or something?
So then I can make the appropriate actions to get additional money elsewhere from my accounts that I can actually move. Because we all know it takes a couple days to move money. But God says, count it all joy when I face trials, because at the end of the day, it's preparing me, right? It's hard to not let that stuff stress me out, but I'm also supposed to believe that God's going to come through for me and help me not get evicted. So all I'm saying, I'm not going to sit here on social media and act like things are peachy when they're not. But trusting in God sometimes is hard. Okay, if you're a real
Well, look. Listen, that's poor planning on your part. If you have extra money that you have saved, listen, I'm pro invest your money. Invest as much as you can and have your money working for you. But you also have to be smart. And so by smart, I mean you have to have an emergency fund. So I don't even think you have to have a crazy amount of an emergency fund. If you got 50 grand in the bank, just make sure you always keep $2,000, $2,500 in an account somewhere, just in case. Because also, what could happen, it sounds like you can just move the money possibly. But what can also happen is if you have your money in the market, you may have to move it in an emergency, but the market might be down. So now you're pulling from your investments while the market's actually down, when in time it will go back up. But because you're pulling when it's down, you actually can hurt your investments long term. So that's why you should still have some money saved, because that's the cost of doing business. And I'd also recommend, I get it, if business is great, cool. But do you have extra time where you could have still had a job? She seems like she would do very well in corporate. Why not still have a corporate job or something, and then you can still be building your business? That's just my opinion. I think you could still work, but whenever people start to have a semblance of success with their side hustle, they're quick to jump ship and just go all in on that, not knowing the uncertainty that can come from trying to have your own business and have everything reliant on what you can do and what you can negotiate. And a lot of times in businesses too, especially as you start to go higher, you start dealing with companies that have you on a net 30, net 60, which that ultimately means it's going to take that long, 30 days, 60 days for them to get you your first payment. And if you have ongoing work, your payments can start to get behind, and you have to make sure that you're keeping track of that and accounting for that. But y'all, before we get back into it, if you could like the video, I greatly appreciate it. Only takes a second, and it actually helps out more than you know. It's only a click. And
Good
also, if you
morning,
could
good
hype.
morning. Happy Tuesday. Today is the day that the Lord has made.
Her caption says, landlord wants to evict me for $97. Like, give me a break.
Today is the day that the Lord has made. We will rejoice and be glad in it. Y'all, I know I said I was going to call y'all back yesterday, but I was tired. So we're going to do start the hair process today when I get off of work. But y'all, why I get an email, excuse me, I got an email from my landlord to start an eviction process. Guess how much I owe my landlord? $97.
Mm.
$97, and he wants to file an eviction notice. So I'm on Section 8. My rent is $1,400. My portion is $937. I was $62 short from the $937.
So she's on Section 8, and she's about to risk her voucher for $97. Ma'am, if you're getting your rent subsidized, you don't take these chances. You're getting on the video yawning. You got time to do the story time. Why you don't got time to go work a day and make $97? That's the question we got to ask, because you're going to lose your voucher. And people could say, oh, well, she's not getting the lion's share paid for. You don't know what she's doing, because that could fluctuate. There might have been seasons where she was getting most of it paid for. It's just going to be dependent on how she's working. So the beautiful reason that people try to hold on to these Section 8 vouchers is because, let's say she loses her job, or let's say she quits her job, or just acts a fool at her job. Well, now her income will be at zero. So she's already got the voucher. She can go to them and report it and let them know where her income stands now, and then they can make adjustments. Ultimately, she's tied in on the system, so that gives her a lot of flexibility. And so now she's about to lose that over $97. And she's coming on TikTok when she needs to listen. That's not an impossible problem to solve. You need to be trying to solve that.
From the month of March. So I'm like, I don't have the $62 to pay him, because when you pay online, they charge you 3%. So I'm like, I don't have it right now. I need to get us some food in here. So I owed him $62. But on the second, you late. So they charge you a one-time charge of $35. So with my $62 and they $35 is $97. So I owe him $97 for the month of March. So I'm like, I don't have $97 right now. I don't get paid till next week.
So it was $62. So she couldn't get the $62 across the line. And then she knew that that would come at another 50% that was going to get added on, that she was ultimately going to have to owe. Because, I mean, $30, half of 60. So now you didn't have $62 apparently, and now you're about to have to pay 50% more than that.
I guess it's okay. Why I get an email yesterday from him saying that he's going to start the eviction process for $97. I cried. I did. I'm a big old baby. I'm like, I can't get evicted for $97. That's just crazy to me.
You won't.
So I'm like,
You won't.
I prayed. I'm like, ain't nothing I can do about it, because I don't have $97 right now to give him. So I guess he's gonna start the eviction process to evict me for the month of March for $97. I'll keep y'all posted. I don't get paid till next week, so it ain't nothing I can do. But I just had to get on here.
Imagine, imagine $100 being the difference between whether you have a roof over your head or not. And you talking about there's nothing I can do about it. I have no options for how to come up with $100. And it was really 62. See, a lot of people get very loose. Let me tell you something. If her job owed her a check and it was $62 short, she would expect them to move mountains and make sure that it was on her check. But see, when it comes to the landlord tenant dynamic and where they have to pay rent, most people get real loose with that and they feel like it's nothing. And so they try to be slick and they try to start a trend that would then give them flexibility moving forward to be able to work it however they want. They're putting out feelers. They're seeing how far they can get. They're just right there. She was testing the boundary. And then she found out that the landlord that she got ain't the one. And so I think that she can definitely come up with that money. I think she could have came up with it before. But people just have to try to test it. They just have to try to test the boundaries and see if they can get a little bit further, even though they're already getting subsidized housing. And it's really nothing. They just have to try to see, because next is going to be $200. Then it's going to be $300. Then it's just going to be, I just don't got the rent at all. Well, if you're telling me that you can't figure out a way to come up with $62, then I don't know what to tell you.
Hey y'all, so this is an update. I know you guys been kind of wondering what's been going on with me. I'm going to court now. The last court date was continued to the 28th to see if I can secure funding. The judge actually gave me a resource, but it ended up being county services. The same place, it was in Rosenberg versus Missouri City. And they kind of said the same thing. They don't have a cap of $800. Court, the judge said if I can find the funding to get put in my name versus the nonprofit organization name. I haven't found anybody that does that. I don't know what's going on in Texas, but they're advertising help to people, and then when you call these places, you're either hung up on, you never get a call back, you never get an answer, or they tell you they can't help you. I've been doing this since April. I paid February and March. April, I knew I wouldn't have the rent. I was hoping to land a job by that time. I did not get the job. Went on live and talked about this. I've been doing Walmart Spark. When I'm not doing that, I'm on the phone all day trying to get funding. I call Baker's Rally. They don't cover Fort Bend for rental services. Services is what I was told. Ooh, I'm gonna sneeze. Excuse me. I've never been in this situation. I've never experienced being a single mother. I've always had Marcus. And so with him being gone, really, I would have been okay if I wouldn't have been wrongfully fired. I'm not getting any help in Fort Bend. I cannot speak for Harris County. I'm going to go to this court hearing and see what the judge say from here. And I'm going to change my life. I'm going to do a 360. I'm going to show my kids that we're going to be okay. And we're going to come out of this on top. I'm trying not to cry. I've been being very positive. So I said a prayer. I do know the judge is really a good judge. I'm going to see where this goes. But God works miracles every day. So I'm not going to count anything out. And I'm going to go in here with an open mind. And I'm going to try not to cry. But when I talk about all of this, it's a lot. It's a lot. And I'm just going to thank God that I woke up this morning. And I'm going to know that everything's going to be okay.
Yeah, I think in this case, this is one of those outlier cases and situations, because I believe she had went viral for another video where basically she is widowed and she was working a temp job and she had to go to her husband's funeral, and they basically fired her because she had to go to her husband's funeral or something. I think she hasn't even an update to this. I don't think this was the most recent one. So we're going to go to the update of this. I hope things are going good for her. That's horrible Like she said, when she said I've always depended on Marcus, I believe that was possibly her husband. So this is one of those outlier cases, which is sad. But one thing that I always advocate for, and I really feel like it's a necessity and there's really no excuse on the man's part, is that he should have had life insurance. I'm tired of you dudes out here starting families, and you know that you are the main breadwinner and you are the main leader of your family, and you don't have health insurance, or not health insurance, life insurance. You don't have life insurance, and you know dang well if something happened to you, then that's it. So, because this is what happens, especially when you know that your woman is relying on you so heavily, and you don't put that in place to make sure that they'll be okay with or without you. I think that's crazy. And there's a lot of dudes out here living like this. And it might be somebody who follows me with a family and they don't got life insurance. And you know that if something happens to you, they're ish out of luck. Are you thinking about that? Because that's your job to think about that and to hedge against that.
I hate these commercials in Houston. I got gray hair popping up everywhere. It says,
So this is the update from that video. This is from about a day or two ago.
Marcus passed away. Oh, update. I am currently still in the apartment. Once the judge ruled in my apartment management side, they wait 5 days to see if I'm going to appeal. I have 5 days, and then they're going to order writ of possession, which that means they can come into the property. The constables will come and put a note on my door. That'll probably be around the 10th of June. And then they give me 24 hours from the time they put the note on the door to vacate. Yeah. That's the update right now. I'm about to Walmart Spark, and I guess I'll talk to you guys later.
Yeah, she didn't have no job because when her viral video came out, she was working at a temp agency, and the temp agency basically let her go. So now you see she don't even have the temp work. So now she is just doing gig work because she probably was taking care of the kids. And again, her husband was probably the breadwinner. And so some would say he was taking care of his responsibilities because he was paying all the bills. But again, brother, if you don't have life insurance and you know that everything hedges on your income, what are you doing?
So I'm just trying to understand why people are still paying bills when a lot of y'all can't even afford to feed y'all families. I mean, it's crystal clear that the government don't care about y'all. Never have. There's families stuck right now in North Carolina with no food, no water, no supplies. And instead of sending the soldiers over there to help, they're sending them overseas. And then it was said that there's not enough money for hurricane relief, but there's enough for Ukraine. And on top of everything, they're still letting in these immigrants who are convicted criminals through the border. And we can't forget that they're trying to replace our jobs with robots. So it's like, through all of this sabotage that they keep throwing at us, we still paying them. Like, it's just not making sense. As a collective, we need to come together and stop paying. Like, if y'all gonna keep raising prices and making it hard to live, then at least let me get my full check. Stop paying taxes. I mean, pretty soon, none of that's gonna matter anyways. I said we got about 2 more months of everything being intact and in order. And after that, I don't know. But for now, we should stop paying them because we're not benefiting from paying taxes. Ukraine is. Israel is. I mean, I'm just saying, before all this shit goes down, can we stand for something?
I like that. You know, she brings up a good point. And I always I know that sometimes the younger generation can get seen as lazy and don't want to work. But a lot of even the ones that do want to work, like she said, they potentially will get replaced by robots, as well as the entry level is dying. It's really two ends of the stick. On one end, they're trying to get rid of the entry level because every job they don't want to train anymore. And it's getting to the point now. I think that college is going to be obsolete, college degrees. And I think that jobs are going to actually start basically wanting you to either work for free just for you to get the experience, or they might even have you pay them like you pay an institution to come and learn on the job. because the entry level is dying, as well as a lot of senior roles are thinning out as well. And they're starting to thin out the top also, because those people are typically the highest paid on a company's balance sheet. But just sticking to what she's saying, okay, if you're getting replaced by robots and we just have it openly unregulated that companies can thin out their job force with AI and with robots and then stretch the workers that they do have even further while not paying them more. Maybe they will pay them more, but they'll have them doing the work of 10 people using AI and supervising robots, like she said. Then it's like, okay, I think that does make sense that they need to cut taxes then. Really completely, if you ask me. Because I think that a lot of the tax dollars is getting wasted anyway. Whether that's on a federal level, whether that's on a local level, whether that's on a county level. We see a lot of fraud, waste, and abuse going on. And honestly, if corporations are going to get rid of people anyway and thin out their job force anyway, then at that point, if they're saving so much by using AI and using automation, then that would be at that point for them to be taxed more heavily, since they're not hiring Americans as much and they're actually thinning the herd as far as some of their American workforce. So she actually brought up a great point.
I'm gonna make this video short as possible. It's gonna be lengthy. This is my testimony on moving from Virginia.
His caption says, "My testimony on moving from Virginia to, I believe that's Dallas, Texas. Life went downhill, losing jobs, fade eviction, but still made it out successfully." And then his description says, "Depression is a real and silent killer. I'm not the type," and we can just start hearing them out from there.
To Texas. 2019 was the start of the year of everything just going downhill for me. All the way up until 2024. 2024, I started creating content, trucking content, lifestyle content. I blew up off of lifestyle a little bit. Trucking content came around. I blew up major. All on platforms. I'm everywhere. Great year. Absolutely great year. Had a great job. Met some folks. Travel. Things of that nature. 2025 came around. I was around some new folks. I don't know what the fuck was going on, but my life went downhill afterwards. I don't know if they was praying on my downfall, whatever the case may be, but it's cool, because now I'm upning. Hey, tell me that. That's besides the point. 2025 was one of my worst years. I was about to say best. Hell no. 2025 was one of my worst years. I was going through bullshit. Literally, bullshit every fucking day. I'm sorry, excuse my friends, but every day I was going through hell. And I was feeling miserable, waking up every day, going to work every day. I had no time for myself. I was just paying bills, going to work, sleeping. That's all I was doing. Virginia ain't got shit anyways. That shit boring as hell. There's nothing there. You can't even make it out. Motherfuckers be so jealous. They don't support. It's like you gotta be friends with everybody to be known, but you're known in the city. You're not known nowhere else. When I made trucking content, I blew up everywhere. Everybody know me. All across the state. All across the map. I ain't gotta be known in the city. Fuck. Anyways, fast forward towards the end of 2025, I was going through bullshit. Hella bullshit. To the point where I was about to crash out. But God sent me an angel.
I was going to say, this is one of the rare things where it's really beautiful, because his content and his work seamlessly mesh together. And it actually incentivizes him to not do what a lot of other content creators like to do, which is quit their job at the first sign of success and go all in on content. He's not incentivized to do that because his content is revolving around his lifestyle, around being a trucker. That's great. I don't know how he had a bad year, because you're diversified. You should be making money on the content side, and then you can also be making it trucking. But he said he had a great year, then he had a bad year. I'm assuming he's saying his content didn't do as well in that bad year, but you still had your income. So now my question becomes, during that good year when you were making content, did you save your content money, your content check, a good percentage of it, or did you blow it because you were expecting things to only go up from there, and then you had the drop? So you're saying you had a bad year because your expectations of more growth didn't happen, and you didn't retain what you earned that previous year, is what I would be curious to understand.
In 2026, I was facing eviction. I was. Life happens. Things happen. You know. I was working FedEx overnight. I got tired of that. I wanted a day shift job. I found one, but the person ignored me for about like 2 to 3 weeks. So I ended up going to a temp agency. Got a job, good paying, but
What
only
happened to
working
the trucking
20
job?
hours a week. Won't shit. I couldn't pay my bills with that. Not only that, I quit FedEx and I was out of a job for 3 weeks. I didn't have much saved up. I'm be honest.
He quit FedEx. I'm guessing he was a FedEx trucker. He said he quit. So did you quit for content?
But I always seen a way to pay my bills on time, except for this one time. And I was facing eviction with that. Now, this is where everything started happening. God sent me an angel. She brought me my own Bible. I expressed myself as far as like what I was going through, things like that. She helped me out. To this day, I'm getting off track. But anyways, yes, facing eviction. Express myself to this angel. She helped me get my faith back. She brought my own Bible. I never had a Bible a day in my life. I read it, I prayed, and my faith started growing. I've established into like reading on being a Muslim and things of that nature, and it just wasn't clicking for me until she helped me out. And I'm not gonna lie, this Bible here saved my life from a lot of things. So without this Bible, without trusting in God, I don't know what would happen. That job I had, I got my last paycheck. She was on the $600. I paid my car note, insurance, and I had $300 left over. I quit that same day. Later that day, I got a call from this job in Dallas, Texas. Can you make it Friday? Hell yeah. I don't know how, but I'm gonna make it there. Packed up that whole weekend, packed my car up with my clothes, my shoes, and I drove my ass to Texas. 18 hours, 1,200 miles. Only had 300 to my name, 200 went to gas. Got to Texas, with only $90 to my name. Now I'm crying and shit. I don't know what the fuck I'm gonna do. I just came here, leap of faith, goddamn, until I made a post. And my homeboy from school back at home, he lived down here. He offered me his couch, stayed there for a couple days, went to a hotel. I had a friend on TikTok that offered me that place as well. Greatly appreciate it. I appreciate everybody that offered help throughout my whole journey. I greatly appreciate that. Now that I'm working, got a little money coming in, I started applying to apartments. Lie to you not, I was thinking negative. I didn't think I was gonna get it.
Oh yeah, you have that eviction on your record. Listen, he said he took a leap of faith and he got in that Bible, and then things just started panning out in front of him in a miraculous way. But I wouldn't recommend you do that again, because that could have turned out really bad for you. That could have turned out really bad for you. It looks like you got saved because you got saved. But now it's on you to learn the lesson and not just quit your job impulsively, knowing that you're already living paycheck to paycheck and that you got looming evictions hanging over your head. Let's hear how he was able to secure a location. It seems like the eviction didn't come back to bite him, but the takeaway should be, don't ever do that again. Don't leave your job, because what I don't want this to be is positive reinforcement that if you just leave your job, something else that you apply for randomly is just going to pop up and call you and say, hey, come over here. You're not going to probably get saved like that again.
So I realized, pray, read that Bible. I applied for the apartment. I lie to you not. That same day I applied, I got approved that same day. After kissing that Bible, praying to that Bible, talking to God the whole day, and I got approved the same motherfucking day. You cannot tell me God not real. Not only that, but he allowed me to come to Texas with only $300 to my name. That's a far ass drive from Virginia. And y'all already know gas is high as hell. He allowed me to make it here. I got a purpose. I was meant to be here. I have my own apartment now. I have a great job. I'm living. I'm cool. I'm waking up every day happy, not miserable. Everything is going smooth for me. I lie to you not, bro. Take that leap of faith. Get out your hometown. I had to get out my hometown. Nothing was working for me. They don't support. They don't show love. They not friendly. I stayed to myself. So it was like, I ain't losing nothing. I ain't really have too many friends. I was always home alone every day. Nobody hit my phone really to talk and shit like that. So it's like, fuck it. I'ma just take that leap of faith. And I'm glad I did, because now I have a good little friend group that I met. Great job, a nice apartment in a nice area. I'm feeling good. I'm doing good. I got so many ideas that I want to do as far as my future and things like that. It's just so much great things that's happening for me. And if you want to goddamn get out your state, man, all you gotta do is just pack up and go. Don't even plan. I ain't have no plan, as you can see. I only have $300. Move down this motherfucker. Do it. That's all you gotta do is just do it. Trust and faith. Have faith and trust.
Hold on. Listen, we gotta have the caveat. This is a single man with no kids, able-bodied man with possibly a skill set in trucking that is very transferable in all 50 states. Before he's advocating for everybody to just pack up and jump all the leap of faith and go to a major city. Because what I don't want to happen, it's going to be a lot of single mothers that is going to hear that story and get inspired. And we see it all the time. I review content where people pack up and move somewhere else, and they end up in a homeless shelter wherever they moved, because they got away from all their family, their safety net, and they just packed up and moved without a plan. Like him, at least he had a job or whatever lined up. But just understand what his situation is. He can be under a bridge and be just fine and still find a way to come out of it, depending on how resourceful he is and how driven he is and motivated, and ultimately how he is able to address his daily habits. But some people, if you know you're not going to get it like that, as well as, like I said, he has a skill set. He probably has a CDL. So, and the main thing I want to take away from this as well is, man, I hope you're saving. I hope you're saving. I hope you didn't just get down to Dallas and you're just taking it all in and you're having a good time all the time. I hope this was also able to reveal the fact that you need to have something put away for a rainy day, because you were living check to check. It's obvious. That's how you ended up evicted in the first place. So just because you got a job and you're in a nicer city and you've got a good friend group, I hope you didn't lose that urgency, because you're still in an emergency. If you're not able to save month after month, as well as you have a decent sized savings that will be able to float you by a couple months, then you are still in a state of emergency, and that needs to be addressed and not overlooked, because it's nothing for something else to happen that can then put you in the hole again and have you ending up in a situation where you could potentially get evicted, or whatever the case, lose your car, and then you lose the ability to go to work. So that's the main thing. I just hope he's saving. But that was a inspiring story. But there's a lot of lessons to take away from it, so that we don't end up in this position again, and we can actually start building and stop ending back up at square one. I wish we would stop having to hit rock bottom so much. Some people have a cycle of rock bottom. You go rock bottom, you start to get back on your feet, you're working up, then you put a self-inflicted wound on yourself, right back to rock bottom. And that's how you ultimately stay at the bottom. And then you wake up one day and you're 50 years old, 60 years old, and you've been working hard your whole life. You've been trying to get from behind the 8 ball your whole life, which takes more energy and it stresses you out. And that mental stress, that mental drain, ultimately takes even more away from your energy, as well as a plethora of health issues can come alongside it. But then you wake up and you're 55, 60, and all these years of stress and grinding and working so hard, because you got to work harder at the bottom, but working so hard. And then you look and you have nothing to show for it. And so I don't want that for him. But where that's going to start is it's going to start by keeping and retaining a little bit of what you have. And then you can start building on that from there. So we'll leave it from there. We'll leave it there. Y'all, if you could like the video, I greatly appreciate it. It only takes a second, and it actually helps out more than you know. And also, if you could hype the video. Hype is a new feature that YouTube offers where it helps smaller content creators like myself. And basically, when you hype, it actually pushes us to the extent that it pushes the larger content creators. So you just press the hype button and it shows the points. And since I am a smaller creator, a smaller channel, we actually get more points per hype. And hype was designed for smaller channels, so that's why we get more points. But if you come across a video and you don't see the hype button, then it's probably been over 7 days, and hype usually vanishes after 7 days. So it's usually best practice, if you want to hype, to just go ahead and hype while the iron is hot on a newer video. And then also, if you want to become a member, the join button's on this video. And what becoming a member of the DXU family will come with is you would get badges next to your comments, so people will see that you're a member whenever you leave a comment, as well as you will get access to early content and exclusive content that is not available to the general public as well. So again, join buttons on the video if that's what you want to do. But until then, I'll see you in the next video.